Hello everyone, my name is Dakoba and welcome back to Satisfactory. We're here in our Satisfactory Let's Play world, and we have a ton to do today. Our main focus today is going to be taking a look at caterium research and fixing our steel plant. We'll also be expanding our power supply and setting ourselves up to be able to fully decorate all of our new factories and greatly expand our logistics in our next episode. Let's get into it. Now let's get started by taking a look at some research trees in the map, and we're going to start off by doing a scan for caterium. Now once we've found caterium, we're going to set up a temporary setup to do some research there. Looks like there is some to the north there. Let's head out in that direction and unlock what we can in that tree. There's the, so far we can see the zipline and the stun rebar and a couple of other things, and I'm very excited to play with those. But what I'm particularly looking for is the smart splitter. And the reason the smart splitter is important is because it's going to be a key part in us getting through the logistics we need. Looks like the alpha hog over there is back, so we will give him a wide berth. Because I'm not looking for a fight just yet. I would like to try him out once we get our stun rebar. But for now we will give him a path. I believe the caterium is up on this ledge, or that's where it was in early access. Let's take a look. Yes, still up there. All right. Go. We got another one up there. Take this, spell it down. And a blue power slug for our efforts. Alright, so for our first step in caterium is to get some additional ore. So let's go ahead and set up a miner. And it looks like we are missing a portable miner, so let's build a equipment workshop. Alright, we got some caterium ore here, so let's pop on over. Alright, now we have enough quickwire to unlock our first technology, and I think the first thing I'm going to go for is the stun rebar, because I want to play around with that while we build up a stockpile of the rest.
Stun rebar ammo unlocked. This applies a moderate electric charge to the target, capable of stunning small creatures and moderately delaying larger ones. This is quite, atomically, exciting. That was a physics joke.
Alright, now I actually really enjoy stun rebar. It's one of my favorite weapon upgrades, and I would love to demonstrate why. Let's go see if we can track down that alpha hog that we saw just a little bit ago. I am not sure where our friend the alpha hog has gone. Let's see if we can find something else to demonstrate on. Alright, I found another alpha hog. I went out exploring and found a drop pod, and it is being guarded by an alpha hog. Let's go ahead and sneak on up. See if we can't get its attention. Hey buddy. There we go. And this is why I like the stun rebar. There you go. Unfortunately, it has no effect on the hatchers, so doesn't delay them from opening, so the best way to deal with them is still to sneak on up and take care of them by hand. But that is all we have there. And with that, we have another hard drive claim. That's exciting. Alright, let's head on back to our caterium vein and see what else we can unlock. Alright, on my way back, I got distracted, but I spotted... I believe this is a large stinger. Here you go. Stun rebar. It's not great on its own. It doesn't pack a punch, but if you use it as a tool to allow you to swap to a Xenobasher, you can do some significant work with it. It will aid you greatly against the tougher enemies in this game. Alright, we found an alpha spitter. Ooh, and another Mercer sphere. I will take it gladly. Ah!
Follow the veins to the altar and chant.
Here we go. Alright, let's head on back to our caterium vein and see what else we can get. Oh, the Mercer sphere over here.
Harvest the scripture. We watch the waves of the effigies in the shallows passing through the windows, and they're all the same. There is no resonance growth. Sing.
I just called the Fix-It doctors. They told me there is definitely no danger from repeat exposure to these signals. In fact, they said it is good for you. I apologize, but the call dropped suddenly, otherwise they would have told you themselves. The good news is you should run towards these strange and dangerous-looking objects whenever you find them. Doctor's orders.
Alright, the next step is going to be to grab the zipline, which will enable us to get around quite a bit more easily.
Zipline unlocked. When equipped, the zipline facilitates travel along power lines, regardless of whether the line is powered. Note: based on previous Pioneer events, Fix-It recommends not using ziplines during thunderstorms and typhoons, or while drinking coffee.
Alright, now in order to make use of the zipline, we need to craft one up, which will require a Xenozapper. Done. And then in order to demonstrate its value, I noticed something up on this ledge. If we zoom in, we can see a crashed drop pod up there, or what looks to be the start of one. So what we can do then is come on over here, create our zip line. Alright, and with that line there, we can now zip line across. Perfect. There's almost always a blue spot on those cliffs. Not always, but almost always. We have that. Nice and easy. Got some copper sheets up here. Forced iron plates. Rotor. Solid biofuel. Just not the drop pod. Pods. This is our drop pod. This requires 120 megawatts. Fortunately, we just brought some power up here. Lovely. Alright, let's pop on back down to our caterium setup. Alright, with our last bit of caterium, we will go ahead and unlock caterium electronics.
New caterium research options available. Congratulations on finding this metal. Many Fix-It initiatives will benefit from caterium's applicability in advanced engineering. Also, it is probably not sentient, and so unlikely to feel pain as we exploit it.
Alright. Alright, now that has opened up a few new things for us. The Power Poles Mark II are definitely something we'll want to grab. Alright, now the Power Pole Mark III requires high-speed connectors, which requires plastic. So those two trees are close to us, but we can do the AI limiters. The AI limiter is a critical component in us getting... like we can get the power switch with it, but importantly, the smart splitter. So we'll need 10 AI limiters for that. Fortunately, we have enough caterium and copper sheeting that we should be able to craft those up pretty easily. There we go. All right.
Smart Splitter unlocked. The Smart Splitter offers advanced settings that can improve conveyor belt logistics.
All right, now that we have smart splitters, I want to take a minute to talk about our plan for today. And so while we head back to base, we'll get started researching our new hard drives, and we'll talk about what we need to do next. All right, back here at base, one of the things I want to do next is take a look at the Logistics Mark III. Now, there are a couple of important tasks we have before us, and this will solve one of those. Let's head over and take a look at our steel factory.
Milestone reached. Improved storage containers and the conveyor belt Mark III provide the obviously necessary tools for improving your current setup. Production speed is of the essence after all. So work hard. Work as if every person you have ever or will ever love is depending solely on the choices that you make. Because they are. Warning. Fix-It psychologists recommend not dwelling on the crushing mental and physical strain of your responsibilities and simply continuing to be productive. Hard work has repeatedly proven to be the best cure for any kind of stress. Now back to work.
All right. So we're back here at our steel factory, and it's a pretty modest setup. I want to prepare this for expansion, expand the foundation platform and make room for it, but we're actually going to have to rebuild the entire thing because I made a mistake, and that is that it is not on the world grid. This is the world grid here. That is not the world grid. So we're going to tear the whole thing down and rebuild it. Unfortunately, tearing down the truck station means we'll also have to redo our truck line, our tractor line. But that's okay because we made the same mistake at the other end as well. So that whole side of it needs to be torn down and rebuilt also. However, I do want to make a few modifications to it that will help us out here. So let's pop back over to the hub and take a look at our next milestone. All right, now taking a look at this milestone, you can see that that will require materials that we already have. So we can certainly unlock this, and it will give us the Mark II miner. Now, the Mark II miner does require encased industrial beams, which we don't have a production line set up for yet, but we have a fair few that we've found either exploring or gotten from lizard doggos. And so we should be able to build a few Mark II miners, which will help us in upgrading our steel factory. So let's go ahead and send off this drop milestone and see how we might modify our factory in order to make use of it.
Milestone reached. The Miner Mark II allows extraction of resources from nature to fix it at twice the speed of the Mark I model. Miners can be directly upgraded to Mark II without removing the Mark I model, just like conveyor belts and other upgradable infrastructure. Unfortunately, setting up the production of advanced steel parts and project part number 3, automated wiring, will not be as easy. Every moment you delay reduces the chances of saving humanity. I will not show you the predictions, it would only demotivate you.
All right. Now we are going to need a few extra portable miners for that, because I believe they take 2 instead of 1. Take a quick look at the recipe there. Yeah, so they take the two Mark II miners, steel pipes, and then the encased industrial beams. Now we have 150 encased industrial beams, and we're going to be getting more soon, but we can upgrade the miners we already have very easily. Now that'll allow us to produce 240 steel ingots per minute by doubling our foundry array over there, or by overclocking, but I think we'll just double up the array, have 6 foundries, and then we can bring those on back over here to provide for our steel manufacturing. All right, while I was getting ready to rebuild our base, our hard drive came in, so let's take a look and see what we got. We got iron pipe and fine. Whoa, 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 whoa. Steel pipes out of iron. This is the best recipe in the game. What? Hold on a second. That means the motors are pure iron, because we've got iron wire and iron pipe. All right, I have been looking at the iron pipe recipe and running the numbers. I don't think it actually is going to affect what we're doing today. It is definitely a recipe we're going to make extensive use of in the future. It greatly simplifies motor production, which is going to be our next big factory. It's also going to greatly simplify heavy modular frames and a number of late game recipes that rely on those things like fused frames and turbo motors, which have those smaller component parts. However, it is significantly less material efficient than using steel. What it does is effectively, so normally you get 2 steel pipes for 3 iron and 3 coal. And what this does is it grants you 5 steel beams for 20 iron. And so it essentially trades 1.5 coal for 2.5 iron, which is generally speaking a positive trade. There's a lot more iron on the map than there is coal. It's in a wider variety of spaces and has fewer sort of specialized uses. So overall, I think this is a huge win of a recipe. I maintain that it's probably one of the best recipes in the game and will greatly simplify a number of factories. But it doesn't actually modify what we're doing here today, because we have these production lines already in place and we're simply upgrading them. So we're going to rebuild this factory, double our production using the Mark II miners, double our number of foundries, and then increase production at the other end. I do think I'm going to go ahead and capitalize on the concrete vein at the other end and use that for encased industrial beams now that we have that recipe unlocked. That way we'll have a stockpile of it for building additional miners, and then when we unlock Mark IV logistics later on, that is the belt material for it, and we'll be able to make use of that straight away because we'll already have a stockpile in place that we've been building for a long time. However, this will probably change the rest of the episode. We'll talk about that after we build the steel plant. Let's get into it. All right, and that is a revamped steel factory, all complete. Let's go through it. Over here we have our miners. These are Mark II miners, our new and upgraded ones, producing 240 units of iron a minute. And down here we have our 2 coal ones on the normal nodes, producing 120. This one is overclocked to produce 135. And they are sending those up. So we have 255 coal and 240 iron coming in. They're being fed into these foundries, which need to be adjusted on their clock speed to 40 units a minute. So let's go ahead. All right, so we're making 40 steel ingots per minute in each foundry, times 6 foundries is 240 units of steel per minute. If we come on over here, I'm still not sure why our outgoing transfer rate is so low. That is incorrect to me. All right, over here on this side, we are receiving our steel from our tractors, and you can see that we're getting a different item transfer rate over here. So I'm not sure how that's calculated or what the influencing factor is there. It looks like we have some steel in our inventory. We can just unload that as well. And that is being sent into these constructors, which are turning them into pipes and beams. Now, like before, we have 2 constructors making these steel pipes. Those are being sent forward into this storage container. When that fills up, we have an overflow here that will sink the rest. Our next 2 constructors are making steel beams. Those are also being sent forward into this storage container. And also we have the overflow here. So this has the potential to overflow onto this belt, and then this smart splitter is set to set anything except steel pipes into the sink. And then last but not least, we have a last constructor making steel beams as well. And so between these, we are using 60, 60, 60, 30, and 30 for 240. This should be perfectly ratioed with our production lines to produce our steel ingots. And then those steel ingots come on over here. On this end, we have 2 constructors producing concrete using a total of 90 limestone a minute, which is where we have our miner tuned to. And that is creating the perfect ratio between concrete and steel beams to make 5 encased industrial beams a minute. And those are once again being set forward. I didn't like the way having the overflow looked on the higher level here, but if we take out this foundation, then we get some floor clipping here, and I didn't like that either. So I'm not really sure how to deal with this asymmetry. I think what I may end up doing is elevating essentially the entire construction floor here, leaving the truck station at the lower level so that it can access the ground, but elevating everything else just to be at that higher level. But I want to wait to do that until I have all my buildables and decoratables, just in case I come up with a better idea. Anyways, let's head on back to base and see what we have next. All right, with that steel plant out of the way, let's talk about what else we can accomplish today. Now, there is one more big problem that we have to address. We've kind of hit this phase of whack-a-mole where a bunch of things are popping up at once. I really want to play with caterium. I really want to play with quartz. However, we don't have enough power anymore. Our maximum consumption has significantly exceeded our production rate. And as we start to pull items out of our various stockpiles, we are going to run out of power quickly. So we need to expand our coal production. However, I do want to start working on decorating the factories. And so we're going to do just a little bit of prep work before we get there. We're going to pop over to our quartz veins and to our caterium veins and set up dimensional depots on those production lines so that we have stockpiles of them. And then hopefully that will allow us to make use of some of the items in the awesome shop. Particularly, I want to get into the windows and a few of the buildables within architecture, things like the roofs and the steel beams, and then play around with those. With those dimensional depots, we will have enough of a stockpile that we can make use of them. So I think if we want to do some dimensional depots, we will need a total of 3, one for quickwire, one for silica, and one for quartz crystals. And it looks like we might need a handful of modular frames for that. But then we can just pop on over and get those things set up. We can also run a power line over to our quartz plant, because the reason we kind of put that on hold was that we didn't have the energy to get there. And on the way over to our caterium, we can run a new power line so that we have easy zipline access as well. let's go ahead and tear all this down and then properly optimize it just a little bit. Let's go ahead and just clean everything up. Nice. And we're just going to do a single production line here, so we can do this on a single width foundation. And this will become a part of our factory later. Our ultimate goal for this section is to run a caterium line over through some smelters, through some constructors, and then into a truck station down below where we can gather up that quickwire and redirect it into more useful locations. We can do a single smelter in front of that. Start at the front, work our way back. A storage container. On top of that storage container, a dimensional depot. So, and then bear lift. Alright, this will make quickwire. It'll use 12 ingots per minute, so we need to be producing 12 ingots per minute. Means we need 36 ore per minute. 36 ore per minute. And there it is. Perfectly efficient, perfectly optimized for what we're doing with it. We'll be producing 60 quickwire a minute. We can only upload 15 a minute into our dimensional depot, so we'll be building up a nice stockpile of that as well. But we should have enough fairly soon in the dimensional depot that whenever we want to build an upgraded power line, power pole, for example, which I think is currently our only buildable, we can do it. If we decide we want to craft up some stun rebar, then we should have enough to do that as well. Let's pop on over to our quartz vein and do something similar. Alright, let's head on over to our quartz veins, and this time we're going to be bringing a power line with us because we didn't last time. Oh, this guy has respawned. Let's see how he likes some stun rebar. Alright, now after we get our quartz set up, we'll pop back up to our power plant and probably just double that up. Set up another 8 generators, another 4 water extractors, and double our power production. Again, I have a plan for how I want to properly rebuild and decorate that place, but that's going to take a lot of resources, including several buildables that we don't have unlocked yet. So gonna hold off on that for the time being. So that is not that. Ooh, okay, so we have a properly big hog here. One who is nasty. This is one of the ones that throws rocks. See how he does with the rebar. Still no match for stone rebar. Tell you, that is one of the best weapons in the game, hands down. All right, let's go ahead and clean all of this stuff up. Well, all right, we'll go ahead and set up a miner Mark 1 over here. That we will feed that into a pair of constructors, as we were before. This one will make silica 2.5. This one will take raw quartz. That's 37.5. That requires 60. This will be 60. That. Now my plan for this space is eventually to turn this place into a sort of bunker, set up a nice exterior over there, and then build in layers up these walls and decorate the inside of this cave to be a quartz factory that will mostly be providing for, at least for a while, for the awesome shop. And then this one is silica. Okay, so that one can go in there. And then once we have the awesome shop, and then once we have trains unlocked, modifying part of our sort of bunker door over there to function as a train depot, so we can pick up the quartz that we're mining here and actually redirect from these veins, which is something that right now we don't need to do because silica and quartz crystals aren't used as a component in any buildings or in any other factories, so we don't need to have those production lines anywhere else. But that changes when we go to make crystal oscillators, and that's around the same time we unlock trains. Let's pop back on over to our coal power plant and get that upgraded. And then I think that is where we will leave it for today. We will end the episode by setting out on an exploration trip into the northern forest. I really want to increase the value of dimensional depots and also get some more hard drives. And so the northern forest and all the starting areas have a large amount of both of those, the rare findable materials, the Mercer spheres, the summer sloops, as well as hard drives that are generally very accessible because they are places where you need to find them in order to get started with the game. So over in the northern forest, there are 7 or 8 hard drives that all require components we're already producing or can easily gather up. There's also tons and tons of Mercer spheres and summer sloops that we want to pick up over there. It'll also let us do a bit more hunting and gather some alien DNA, which is going to give us a huge boost to our Fix-It coupons, because we're getting to the point where it's getting very expensive to generate tickets with parts. They'll continue to trickle in over time. We can't really, just dump in a stack of items to generate more tickets because the price of tickets is so high and the items that we have, stacks and stacks of are not very valuable. And so then the alien DNA capsules are going to be the next best way to get the Fix-It coupons to unlock what we want out of them. Alright, I think I've gathered up enough materials. Let's head on up to the top of the falls, and I think I want to try doing this via zipline. Go. All right, let's see. Now we know that this rock prevents building the same way that we have, but I wonder if we upgrade to a Mark II miner and upgrade our belt lines all the way across, we should be able to feed into another bank of generators. All right, let's get into it. All right, and that is our power supply doubled. That is fantastic. That will last us quite a little while until we are ready to properly rebuild these coal power plants one more time in order to get to a late game setup. Now, the design I have in mind will require us to clear out those rocks, as well as probably move our sand processing site, as it's going to take this entire sort of plateau here. But I think it will look good when it comes together. We'll have to do that in another episode, though. I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. I'd like to thank you guys for taking a few minutes out of your day to spend with me here in the world of Satisfactory. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Leave a like if you have, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. My name is Dakoba, and I hope you have an efficient day. I'll see you soon.